Good evening, Malden. Welcome to TMZ, the Malden Zone. I'm your host this evening, Joe Piantedosi. Welcome. Today is Wednesday, August 8th. It's our live show tonight, and it's a beautiful night here in downtown Malden. Very warm, summery night. Won't be too many more of these coming up. People are complaining about the high heat and humidity, but as you know, summer is winding down. I hate to say that. You know, we're already watching the back-to-school ads on television. I have one PSA I'd like to announce that Malden Access Television is holding a Texas Hold'em fundraiser at the Silver Fox Restaurant, which is on 2nd Street in Everett, Revere Beach Parkway. That'll be next Thursday evening, August 16th, starting at 6:30 p.m. It goes till midnight. And again, it's a fundraiser for this station, Malden Access TV, MATV. And it's a Texas Hold'em fundraiser at the Silver Fox Restaurant. Great restaurant, too. If you've never been there, it's definitely worth the trek over to Everett, to the Silver Fox. And I know they have good bread there as well. But it's 6:30 to midnight on August 16th. There's also, we're scrolling down on the screen. You can see more about that. You can always call the station here if you have any questions about this event, about tickets, and how you can get tickets, basically. And our phone lines are open tonight. You can call at 781-397-8286. That's 781-397-8286. I told you it's summer, and for the past, I think, maybe 3 or 4 years, one of my August shows, and this is my only August show, by the way. I won't be on again until September. But I bring two people that are very special to me, very close to me, my wife and my son. So I have Julie and Jared, my lovely wife, Hi. Julie, Hi. And my son, Jared, as my guests. And this started about, how many years ago now? Is this maybe your fourth
I think
time?
It's our fourth.
Fourth time in August I've had you on. And we've talked about just the ongoings of your lives, which is great to have you both on.
Thank you for having us.
Nice to have you guys both here. Julie is an attorney, and I think I've told you that before. She's a healthcare attorney. Of course, she left that profession temporarily about 1.5 years ago to join forces with me and our company, running our retail bread shop in downtown Winchester, which she's still doing that. But she also has her hand in law and also elder affairs, which she is quite fond of. She's actually on the board of directors for the Jenks Center in Winchester, which is which the board you're on is the tell us about that board first, if you can.
It's Winchester Seniors Association, so they have a board of advisors that speaks to, it's a seniors citizen center in Winchester, and so the board of advisors advises on programs, educational offerings, what they should spend their money on, things that are important to seniors current and in the future.
Excellent. And now you are, I think, the youngest board member, correct?
Yes, I am.
Okay. By many years, which is it's a great thing.
No, it's a very well-run organization.
Do you have to be a Winchester resident to be a part of the Jenks Senior Center?
It's a very good question. I do not believe so, but I'm not sure. It's a good question.
I don't think you do, because I think I've talked to some people that are not Winchester residents.
It's a very well-run organization, and you'd be surprised at how many towns don't have senior citizen center. It's needed. I mean, they reach out to people who otherwise would be isolated in their homes, and they provide needed services. So I'm pleased to be a part of it. I was honored to be asked.
Because we have a senior center here in Malden, right?
Yep.
And right across the street, and that's actually run by City of Malden. I kept, oh my God, she used to work for Mayor Howard. I forget her name right now.
Oh no, Krista Petro's not there anymore.
Oh, no kidding.
No.
I didn't know that.
She's on a different board.
Oh, okay. Well, sorry, Chris. I thought you were still there. You know who runs that now, Francis? Do you know?
It's another woman.
It's a great organization.
I think what's interesting about, and when we speak of what they call them older citizens, 65 and older, that's the term that they use, but It's the fastest growing segment of the U.S. population.
And they're called older citizens, not senior citizens. I would
Well,
think that sounds a little nicer.
They're really sort of moving towards older.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. You have to be 65?
You don't have to be 65, but I mean, when I speak of them, I was just saying, people don't understand the segment of the population that's growing the fastest is the 65 and older
The
population.
scary thing about me, and of course it all comes back to me, you guys both know that, is that I turned 50 just about 11 months ago, and all of a sudden I got cards in the mail, my ARP card and all that
Right.
stuff. And then the one day that really hit me was when I went to buy Centrum vitamins, and I saw the silver ones that I had advertised, and I always thought they were for people that were old, and it said for 50 plus. So I really feel like I'm an older person,
Well,
an
it's
older citizen now.
The whole sort of whole sort of area, senior citizens, because of our outstanding medical technology, people are living longer. I think people live into their hundreds now. But a lot of people are living with complex medical problems. It's a whole sort of like area that.
But what age does it start? 50 or 60? I used to
Starts
think
at 50, Joe. No.
You're not 50 yet, so you've got some time.
Yeah.
A couple of short months.
They have a good. The senior citizens that I'm around have rich, full lives, much more so than I think anybody would expect. At the Jenks Center,
No, it's actually great.
It is.
It's so nice for people that are older, that have wisdom and experience, and are
Right.
full of life still, and maybe have retired from their jobs, or maybe they were forced to, or maybe for some slight health reasons they don't work anymore on a regular basis. And it's nice that they can join a place like the senior center and
well,
be
we should
active
be
and
using
involved
that expertise rather than. There's a lot of expertise that they have. We should be utilizing that in conjunction somehow with kids in school, and we're trying to figure that out right now because there are kids who want to go into certain areas, and there are senior citizens who have expertise in that areas, and so to match them up.
We've talked about this in the past, that
Right.
this country is really funny because it seems like when you become a certain age, it's almost like you put on the back burner.
We're
And-
youth obsessed.
And other countries, in China in particular, and all of Europe though, older people are revered, they're respected, they have
As
wisdom.
They
and,
should be.
And it just seems like this country, which is a shame because there's people that, I know at our company, we love hiring older people. They offer a lot to us and for us, and oftentimes our best workers, and they're,
Absolutely.
it's nice to have older people around. So it's nice that you're involved with the senior sect and giving back to the community of Winchester. And you're also on the board of directors for the Winchester Chamber of Commerce, too. Because I
Yes,
was
I
on the
am.
board for many years here in Malden. And we have quite an active board and chamber in Winchester. And we also have Richard Howard, as you all know, as our town manager, who's
What
like the mayor, and he's done
what
a lot
a
of
great job he's been doing.
he's
We're very lucky in Winchester to have him.
definite asset to Winchester. So we're fortunate. But anyway,
She's also on the board for the swim and tennis club.
yep, this is
That's true, because when I was involved in the senior citizens area, I was involved in the swimming program
Planning the meets.
at our Winchester Swim and Tennis Club, which is where our son Jared, has been spending most of his summer.
And this is a good segue because we can talk about your swimming pros. I mean, Jared's been on the swim team now for 3 years in Winchester, right? And you've had 3 successful years, and this year by far is the best. But tell us a little bit about the swim team and what you've been doing.
Well, basically, pretty much there's 4 teams, I believe, in the Middlesex County. The swim and tennis club, which is us, the country club, the boat club in Sun Valley. There used to be Lexington Town Pool, but they dropped out. But basically, we have like 5 or 6 meets on good years. Like this year, we didn't have many because of the
Because one of them dropped out, so.
yeah. So, but we have meets. The swim and tennis club will go against the boat club, and basically they really don't mean anything because the championship, all of the teams can compete anyway.
The championship is when all the teams, every
Yeah.
single one, yeah.
And for the most part, the individual meets just for bragging rights.
That's true.
But
And so
Well,
you
the
can
meets are
improve-
great because you competed in
Yeah, it helps.
every meet.
But
And
we have practice every morning from 8:30 to 9:15, and luckily it's a stone's throw away from our house, so I just walk there.
Mhm.
What's your practice entail? Like what's a typical practice?
So basically, it starts out. There's always a warm up. There's the 100 free. You know,
How many laps?
100 free. 25 is one length of the pool, so 4.
4 laps?
Yeah, and then usually we do 100 IM, which is a individual medley, which is butter, back, breast, and then free.
Okay.
Then we do 100 choice.
What, you get to choose which one?
Yeah, I mean I usually do 100 free.
So wait a minute, so
Most
now
kids
you're up to
do.
16 laps you've done.
Yeah, and then usually we take. I mean, because kids really show up. I can't think of one day where all the kids have shown up.
Thank
on
God,
time.
because there's a lot of kids.
Yeah. Well, I mean, only for this particular age group.
Oh, okay.
Like, I'm in the, what is it, 10 and,
No.
11 and overs.
11 and over.
And we have the earlier practice. There's not as many of us as there are of the 10
Smaller
and unders.
kids, yeah.
And there's even a 6 and unders where they swim in the shallow ends. And, we learn how to swim. So, but most kids show up later, and really we wait. Chris is the coach. He waits for everybody to show up and everybody to be done. And then, we usually practice our sprints. I mean, he usually times us
How many laps would you say you do on average every practice?
every day.
Yeah.
Every practice.
I mean, at least.
At least like 40 or something.
That's
Wow,
amazing.
That's great.
That's amazing. 40 laps.
And what's nice is you don't just do it during the practices. You go separately and you still continue to practice on your own, which is important.
Yeah.
You don't just do it during the assigned coach practices.
Now,
which
do you
is
like
also-
swimming?
Love swimming, yeah.
What do you like about it?
It's relaxing. I mean, I know a lot of people can't swim, but, just swimming in the water.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm good at
Interesting because
Yeah.
it's funny. Ever since he was a baby, he loved
Mhm.
to be in a pool and loved. You really did. You took to water very easily, and I remember other kids your age were afraid. You were never afraid of the water, which was great. You got right in at a young age and just really embraced it.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
And you've got the great physique. You're very tall, and I know you've been watching the Olympics, and I think it's motivated you. And I think you kind of look up to Michael Phelps in more ways than one, because of course he's 6'6",
Best swimmer in the world.
but now he's the most decorated Olympian in history. And
Now there's an opening.
great, yeah, they could be. You never know.
The one thing that I thought was interesting about Michael Phelps is before he won his 8 gold in Beijing, the coach was being interviewed, his coach, and he said he practiced before the Beijing Olympics every single day for 6 years. Think about that. He didn't miss a day.
Wow.
So it didn't just happen. I mean, he put
Yeah.
in the hard work and the sacrifice, and every day for 6 years.
And
That's
that
a
it
lot.
also it's your diet too. Obviously, I mean you don't just swim. You have to lift weights. You have to build up your physical strength, and you also have
the
to.
water better. That's what he does, yeah.
You have to
Right.
eat properly and eat the right foods, obviously. And
I don't know if I'm sure people watch the Olympics, but it's nail biting because all they have to do is out touch the other one, and
know.
it comes down to such small milliseconds.
Yeah, there was one race he didn't win.
Right.
He came in second, I think, because he just pulled his. I mean, he was ahead the whole
Blinded
time.
and he didn't- it was a
Right.
butterfly.
Yeah.
Right.
And now, Jared, you do freestyle. What are the 3? I know you. Tell us.
I do 50 free, which is 50 free, which is 2 lengths, and 50 back. Those are my events usually at the meets and the championship. And breaststroke and butterfly are hard. I mean, for me, I can do it, but I don't go fast. And that's the whole. And I've seen kids who can. Are amazing at butterfly at a young age. So
Now, will you be swimming year round?
that's. I'm thinking about it.
Born of content. We've been discussing it as a family.
Yeah. So.
It's great. I mean, but does the Olympics inspire you at all? Do you aspire to be?
Well, every professional swimmer wants to be like Michael Phelps. He's a god. Actually, they call him. He's Superman. He's
Closest thing to Poseidon.
And now he's giving it up. It's funny because they keep on asking him, "Won't you come back? Won't you come back in 4 years?" And he's saying, "No, he's done. He wants to retire from swimming." Of course, I guess he can make a lot more money if he does endorsements and
But 22 medals was it? That's not bad.
18 gold. It's not
Well, I
bad.
mean, that kind of commitment, that kind of work. I mean, I don't think people can appreciate that kind of seriously discipline that you have to have for that. Even anybody who even gets to the Olympics, even though we sit and we sort of like
Ryan Lochte.
right, anybody who's there is amazing.
And even look at locally, we have I guess that girl Allie Reisman is her name.
Yep,
Needham.
from Needham.
From Needham.
I heard she won gold.
She did one.
She finally did. She actually
it
lost it.
individual?
Yes.
Yeah, in the floor
She
routine.
got a team gold. She got an individual gold and an individual bronze. But her first
No, didn't she tie for third place? But there was a rule
Yep.
that the other girl got.
that was the first event she was in, and she was devastated. So she tried not to act like she was devastated, but she was. And her grandparents were interviewed here in Boston, and all her friends and everything. But she ended up coming back and winning one gold on her own, and bronze on her own, gold on her own, and team gold. So, and then of course from Winchester we had Alicia Sacramone, who
She didn't.
did well last year, and she just missed being accepted in the Olympics this year.
Yeah.
But she's done a lot of endorsements, and she's really helped Winchester be put on the map a little bit. I mean, a lot of recognition Winchester got because of Alicia Sacramone.
Yeah.
So, and then there were anyone else from Mass? I thought there was someone else from Mass. That was.
Not that I can remember.
Oh, okay. But talk about Ryan Lochte.
Yeah.
He got gold, or didn't he win one?
He did.
Gold?
I'm not sure exactly, but I know he did get a gold. But they were sort of, in the beginning it was this big build-up, Phelps versus Lochte, and when it never failed to materialize because Lochte didn't perform as they thought he could have. Sort of some of the press was not so flattering about him, but he was in the Olympics.
Yeah.
I mean.
And now he has a better. I mean, come on, you're up against the most decorated Olympian,
Yeah.
so you're gonna pale in comparison. But I mean, next time,
mean-
4 years out, he could be.
In Rio.
Yeah, he'll be
Yeah.
and he'll be back in Rio.
And Missy Franklin too.
Missy
That's
Franklin.
right.
like
She's
15.
15 years old. She's
She's
the
15
youngest.
years
She's called
old.
the future of American swimming.
Wow.
I mean,
Generation.
That is amazing.
She,
So-
yeah, she can do things.
So you came in first in almost all your
Almost
meets,
all
right?
but one. am I
All but
right?
one, and that was you came in second on that one,
Yeah,
right?
close second.
Close second. I like that. Close, competitive. And what I'm impressed with is you received so 3 years in the on the swim team,
Mhm.
and you got a trophy every year, which is great. The first year was most improved,
Yeah.
which was good for the first year out, obviously. Second year was MVP last year, and this year you got the coaches award, which is great. So very proud of you and impressed that you're
He still has a lot of work to do.
a lot
I
of
know,
work
I
to
do.
do. But I like your dedication. I like your commitment to it, and it's inspirational. It's of course swimming is something that's very healthy, and the good thing about swimming is you can swim. My uncle's in his 90s and he still swims, which is a good thing. And you can swim your whole life. Unfortunately, like baseball and football, and people go out for those sports and do well, and they're great sports. But you get to be a certain age, and once you're out of school, unless you go pro, and even if you go pro, you get to be a certain age, you can't, after 40, you don't play pro anything really,
Yeah.
Except for golf and tennis and stuff like that. But anyway, very proud of you. So you've done that this summer. I remember a couple of years ago, I think the first time you were on, you did a community service camp, which was good. And we talked about that. Of course, you haven't done that. That was
I don't even
for
know.
younger kids.
I think I'm old too old for that.
You're
You
too
are
old
too
for
old
that,
for
yeah.
that.
So once you get older, you don't take care of the community anymore. It's the younger kids
There's
do
a
that.
community service
Yeah.
camp at the school, but only 5 kids do it.
But you came up for a great year at school. You had an excellent year. You're going into the 8th grade, which would be your last year of middle school. And we're proud of you academically. You got all A's, which was excellent. Your mother and I are very proud of you. So that's the avid reader. You love to read, which is important.
Now, what about you? Let's turn the tables on you.
Well, I
What
want
have
to
you
talk a
been-
little more about
Well, what have you been doing, Mr. Piantedosi?
just working pretty much.
Working.
Taking a little time off, which has been nice, and
And what new
trying to get
new things
organized.
do you have over at the baking company?
Nothing, just trying to continue to grow the business, trying to get more customers, more national presence, trying to do more with marketing and expand our name. We're doing farmers market, which is a good segue into you, and it's
You're doing one right here in Malden?
right here in Malden. As everybody knows, Tuesday is farmers market day in Malden, right in Malden Square. Beautiful little area.
Now, how many vendors do they have at that? I mean, is it a big
Not a lot. It's
farmers-
not a big market. This is only the second year, and last year they only did it a few times. This is the first year that Malden has.
What's
done it
the
every week.
appeal of farmers markets? I'm curious.
It's funny because, of course, years ago, again, what's old is now new.
Right.
It was very big years ago, and it was basically farmers would go out and sell their wares. Now, I mean, we're a bread company, obviously, but you go to these farmers markets and you see a lot more than produce, which is nice. I mean, there's usually sometimes a fish vendor, a meat vendor. There's sometimes clothing and jewelry.
So what's the selling point? That it's all fresh and local?
It's local. Local is important. Fresh. Usually you can barter. Oftentimes.
Oh, really?
People will reduce prices, and what I find, our company is presently doing 5, and Jared is actually doing the one in Winchester for us with a team.
Now, are farmers markets held to the same standards as retail?
Well, it's funny because
I'm just curious.
what do you mean same standards? Like
Laws, regulations.
well, there's the Board of Health in each community
But it's
monitors closely, and you make sure that you wear gloves when you're handling
Right.
product that is not
Because it is different, though.
right. Well, I know in Winchester especially, the Board of Health is very much on top of, you can't give
Yeah.
free samples without touching with gloves or toothpicks. Little doilies, they're very, they practice the HACCP rules and
Oh, okay.
all that food safety, which is important. You don't want to get people
Oh,
sick,
right.
especially being outdoors in the hot sun. But it just seems like every community now has a farmer's market. We had Ted Coates on, I did just a few weeks ago, who is the director of the Malden Chamber of Commerce, who in conjunction with the mayor's office spearheaded this in the Malden Redevelopment Authority.
Now, do you have to pay, if you're a vendor, do you have to pay to become a part of the farmers market?
Yes,
And does somebody have to approve you as a?
Yep, the market manager, if you will. But every town is a little different.
Oh,
Some you pay a flat fee for the season. Others you pay weekly. Sometimes you don't pay, I guess.
Yeah.
And there's a waiting list for a lot of the towns. We participate currently, our company, in Malden, which is on Tuesdays, Winchester Saturdays, but we have Beverly on Monday, which is a great market right near the train station. Wednesday we do Everett, our sister city right next door, and Thursday we do Revere Beach.
and of those, which one is most successful? What'd you say?
Well, not Malden, but
Well, Malden's small, though.
Malden's small and it's new, but
Yeah.
Beverly is a really good market. And it's probably because it's right near the train station. And it's been established for many years. And oftentimes it takes a few years for people to catch on. But
Interesting.
every week Malden seems to be getting busier. More people come. This was a great week this past week. But you're subject to the weather. If it's too hot,
Right.
too cold, or if it's raining, then we almost had a monsoon one day here in Malden. And it's in like a little bit of a dust bowl. It's a beautiful little area that they have it in, but if the wind picks up and it rains, I mean, and you only have one chance. It's one every week for those limited hours. And Malden has the shortest hours too. Malden's 3. Well, actually, they just extended to 6:30 now. Yeah, it was 3 to 6. Now it's 3 to 6:30.
And what does it go until? Like what month?
Most go to the end of October. Malden is stopping mid-September, but they're contemplating keeping going longer. And also, one of the other squares in Malden, is it Linden Square or Maplewood? Maplewood Square is having one, like 2 or 3 various Saturdays in the fall, which basically, no, I think they correlate a little bit. They coincide with the Malden one, but it's a great. I know companies, bread bakeries, that the only means of sales are these farmers markets.
Really?
Yeah, they don't have a retail outlet. They don't sell to stores. And they're at these. I mean, there's Cambridge alone has I
Cambridge
researched
is, yeah.
has numerous ones. We've seen the.
I've seen one, right.
Just every and I travel a lot, And in Florida, California.
So it's not just a New England thing?
No, it's all over. California has them all over, and they advertise them, and they do well, and it's growing in popularity. And what we did, our company this year, is we hired 3 college kids, local kids, that are actually one graduate high school and is going into college in the fall, and the other 3 are freshmen in college that are going on to the sophomore year. And
To work the farmers
to
market?
work the farmers market, I have an older, seasoned employee, a retired school teacher,
Old science teacher.
from Everett, that is kind of like the manager, is the manager and the boss, and which is nice because he's used to dealing with kids, and he basically runs them, oversees them, and I have a crew that goes out now 5 days a week.
Wow. Busy.
The biggest problem is the kids go back to school, so I'm going to lose a couple of them at the end of the.
Yeah, but the farmers
August.
market's end soon, right? I mean,
No, they go till the last one. Basically, I think the last one is Halloween that we do, which is the
Halloween's a
last
Saturday?
Wednesday.
Oh.
I think Everett is Halloween is the last farmers market.
so do you have to be to be in the Everett farmers market? You have to be an Everett vendor, obviously.
No, not at all.
Oh, you don't.
It is funny. We've received. Everett asked us to participate. Some have asked us. Some have called us. Others we've called and asked to fill out an application. We got turned down by several communities.
Why is that? Because you're not small enough, maybe?
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Some of the markets felt we were too big. We were a large company, and they wanted a small,
Well, yeah.
company. And others, if they had another bread company there established,
Yeah.
they didn't want a second one or a third one for that matter, depending. And then space. Sometimes they only have X amount of booths, if you will, and 20, and only if someone drops out. And then some they have like a rotating thing to let you do every third or every fourth because you're sharing it with another vendor. So, but I think it's great for kids to get involved and work. It shows, Jared's been doing it now. This is the second year you've done it, but it teaches you, how to handle customers and deal with people and work with cash. And that's pretty funny too. I mean, some farmers markets take credit cards. Some take EBT cards. We got a few phone calls and requests that some don't, and some vendors don't. I mean, we don't have the means to do that, unfortunately. We don't take credit cards at the farmers market. It's pretty funny because the one in Winchester is only around the corner from our shop in Winchester, and we've had people come asking to use a credit card, and we'll have to say no, but you can go to the shop and buy.
We do
So
gift certificates at the farmers
we
market.
do, sure, yeah.
We used to.
So, but so that's been something I've been pushing at the company, and Jared's been also doing. And now you have been at the bread shop. Now this is year 2,
Yes, it is.
coming up on year 2. Actually, it'll be year 2 in November. But we're entering the second year, and a lot of new things have happened since you started. We're doing sandwiches now, which
Yeah,
we
it's
didn't do
huge.
initially,
Smoothies.
and
Huge.
smoothies.
A huge percentage of our
Yeah.
business.
We're doing we're doing also an espresso and a cappuccino. But the sandwiches, we do breakfast sandwiches and we do a lunch sandwich. So we offer a limited menu, but it's all takeout. And we have 2 seats instead of 3 seats if you're lucky, if you can squeeze in. And but it's a big joke because how many times a day you can turn over the dining room. Someone said something to me that we have seating for 500, 3 at a time, that was Mike Lockett from. But anyway, another interesting thing we're doing as a company, and this is something that businesses may want to do, is we participate in a lot of events, and it's all marketing, but a lot of them are for charity. Some aren't, some are, and some are just marketing. And actually, we're participating this Saturday as a company at the Burlington Mall as an event called Back at It. And hate to say this, Jared, but it's for back to school. And actually, it coincides this weekend, as everyone probably knows, is the tax-free holiday weekend. So they're encouraging people to go out and spend money, and it's tax-free. And the Burlington Mall has something right where the Santa Claus display is, so right in the main part of the mall. And it's from noon to 3 this Saturday, which is the 11th.
So those will be vendors who aren't in the mall?
Yes, they advertised. marketing people reached out to them. And some, vendors that aren't in the mall. But some, I don't even know, to be honest with you, I'll be there, but I don't know who is participating. I know we're the only bread bakery, though Oman Pan is at the mall.
Right.
But we're going to be selling some baguettes, but also giving out samples and coupons. And there's a raffle, there's a goodie bag that people get. But I guess the mall does this sporadically, which is a good thing. And we're doing that this Saturday, and it'll be interesting. And it's almost like a farmer's market. Per se, and right in the heart of the mall where shops are. And
So what do you have, like little kiosks?
little kiosks, yep. There'll be,
Okay.
so we're doing that this Saturday at the mall. And then next Saturday evening, we're doing an event at the Franklin Park Zoo in Boston, and we were asked to do that. And it's kind of like we do the same thing in Stoneham. They call it a zoo affair, I guess, in Stoneham. Earlier in June, I think it is. And this one, we've never done it at Franklin Park, but Franklin Park's a bigger zoo, and
What do you do?
we have like a booth or a kiosk, if you will, and
Oh, so
give
with
out
a bunch of other
samples.
vendors?
Yes, yep, we're doing that.
What is it, like a fundraiser or something?
I guess it raises money for
The
local
zoo.
charity or the zoo, or we get calls all the time for these charity benefits, and if it's a nice way to help out and also spread your name, which is a good thing. And then we're doing another event. We have
Now, will the animals be participate? Will they be able to buy?
well, I guess they can watch us from the cages, which is great.
They're
but-
not in cages, darling.
They're not. They're
No.
roaming freely.
I don't think animals are in cages anymore.
Well, I mean, they're in
They're in their as natural a
natural
habitat as they can be.
Sure. Franklin Park Zoo gets a lot of national recognition, and actually, the movie was just shot there. Zookeeper was shot there
Kevin James, right?
with Kevin James, good from King of Queens. And then the last we've got 3 events coming up in a row. The last Sunday of August, we're doing a TV diner event, which is it's like a big farmer's market, and it's at a farm in Natick. And last year was the first time they did it. It was
And are you participating in all
no,
these?
that he's not
No.
participating then because you guys will be away that weekend.
Yeah.
But I've got some of the kids doing it, so we're all good stuff. Keeps you busy. Now it's funny, and I don't know if we didn't talk about this, but there's been a lot of movies, speaking of movies, shot in the Boston area. And if you read the papers, a lot of big stars they're shooting. I think Grown Ups 2 is one. Labor Day is another one.
She shot a scene in Winchester.
Exactly. They did you know that
Sunday
they
they did.
Was that with Kate Winslet?
Kate Winslet
Yeah, I heard that. I
Tobey
heard that.
and
Maguire, right?
Tobey Maguire, exactly,
I
the
heard that.
Spider-Man, the old Spider-Man. And they blocked off streets in Winchester.
Yeah, I
they
heard-
even did it at the Jenks parking
You know
lot.
what? I know, and I saw a street that they were part. I know. I saw what they.
Yeah. So, but they've been doing a lot of North Shore movies. It's funny because Massachusetts offered tax credits to the movie industry, and we have an influx of movies. But it's kind of neat to see people like David Spade, Kevin
Yeah.
James. They're all in town. Adam Sandler. Who else has been in town? Some big name people have come in to do movies. You
Yeah.
mentioned Tobey Maguire, Kate Winslet. They had Shaquille O'Neal. He did a cameo in one of the movies, and it's great for Boston. I mean, for the tax dollars, but also just publicity and PR. So that's been interesting. Another segue we can talk about, speaking of taxes and tax dollars, is the upcoming election, and it's pretty. It's heating up, pretty intense. Of course, there's in Massachusetts we have the big senatorial election against Senator Brown and Professor Warren.
Now, what Democrats just came out and endorsed Scott Brown?
Actually, very impressive.
And the
Ray,
former mayor.
Ray Kelly, former mayor of Boston.
Ray
former-
Kelly. Ray
I'm
Flynn.
sorry, Ray Flynn. I mean, yeah, Ray Kelly is the commissioner in not in California. Wasn't he? He was the New
police
York police commissioner.
Yeah, I know who you're talking.
Now he's out.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Ray
Yeah.
Flynn, former ambassador
to the Vatican.
to the Vatican. He was actually one of my speakers at the chamber years ago. Did a great job. Did you tape that episode? That was great. He was excellent. I think he's a member of the Malden, the Irish American too. Actually, Ray Flynn. He's very, very Boston Irish
Yeah.
Catholic, old-fashioned
I
politician.
wonder if that will have any impact on Democrats.
Well, it's funny
And
because
he'll-
he's a big Democrat, has been one for his entire career, his entire life in politics, 50 years. He was city councilor before he ran for mayor, and he was a mayor for about 10 years. And then he left. Actually, he left, and Mayor Menino replaced him as he left because he got called to the Vatican, and he felt it was his calling to be called there, and went out and.
I just wonder if Democrats, if that is a significant endorsement. I have no idea. I mean,
I think it is, and
probably is. He's been a lifelong Democrat. For him to come out and endorse Scott Brown.
And a second person, just recently, I was unfamiliar with her, but she's a Democrat as well. She was a former mayor. I don't even know where. I
Who?
just saw the ads. It's a woman, an older woman, who said lifelong Democrat and former mayor of a city in Massachusetts, obviously. And she's endorsing Scott Brown. And the interesting thing is, it's kind of funny because what I'm noticing is Scott Brown, who's a great guy, and we've met him. He really is known as not a ultra conservative, right-wing Republican, and to have, they can't paint him in that corner. And even Ray Flynn says in his ads that he reaches across the aisle, and I've heard that he actually.
So what was their reasoning for not endorsing her? Or did they?
I think he's proven that he has worked with both sides of the aisle, and he's not just he's voting his own conscience, his own beliefs, and even though there's an R next to his name, it doesn't mean that he's a Republican. The Republican Party doesn't own him. So I think it's kind of funny. I mean, it shows the extreme of how liberal and how to the left Professor Warren is compared to Senator Brown, because he's a very liberal Republican, a very, So I don't know. I think it's an interesting race. I mean, personally, and of course we're in Malden, a very highly Democratic city. But I looked at Elizabeth Warren as just a carpetbagger. They're quick to knock others. I mean, she's from Oklahoma. I'm surprised this Indian claim didn't affect her more, hurt her more, because I mean, she never really, she didn't really defend herself enough. I feel, claiming she was part Cherokee, and it was proven that she's not.
I thought they were going to have debates.
Well, the debates are coming.
They are. They're
Oh
coming.
yeah, there's a lot of debates. Nothing really. Everything quiets down for the summer. I mean, especially with the Olympics,
That's true.
and then people are on vacation. So right after Labor Day, you'll start seeing all the debates, both the presidential and the senatorial debates. But actually, David Gregory is hosting, I believe, the first debate between Warren and Brown.
You never really know until people vote. I mean,
Yeah.
you just don't know what's going to happen. You can't.
But I look at Scott Brown. I mean,
can-
of course, he was a guest here in Malden as well. He's coming back this.
He's been here a
couple of times.
He's been here
Yep.
even around the election.
Yep, he came to when his wife spoke at the chamber. He came, and
When they dedicated the memorial.
Exactly.
In Bell Rock Park.
yep, and he's a good guy. I haven't heard anything bad about him.
What was good, what was good about him? He made time for people that came up to him.
Yeah, he's a regular. He's that way. He came to our bread shop actually. He was in Winchester, and he had heard
Book
about the
signing
bread
at
shop, and he
books,
came.
local
He did
bookstore.
a signing, exactly, book signing, and it wasn't a campaign stuff. This was before the campaign even got underway, and he came over and took a picture with us and signed some autographs.
I mean, I really like about him that he's in the National Guard.
Yep.
That he
Just got promoted actually
Right.
to colonel.
and he's been over to see our troops. I mean, he doesn't just talk about it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the things I really like about
And
him.
he served. I mean, he was a state senator. And of course, the interesting thing is, our president had as much experience. Our president was a one-term state senator, and then became a U.S. senator, and left his first year to run for the presidency. So I mean, he's had experience, which I think is important. I mean, and Professor Warren has not held any political, it's a shame because the media jumps in and just, they'll make a speech, but they'll take out a segment of the speech and just sound bites. And,
But you can't really blame the media. I mean, people should read.
yeah.
If you don't want to just listen to sound bites, all you have to do is go to the article.
Well, a
and
lot
read
of people, they hear things, like Harry Reid has come out against Mitt Romney on a lot of issues. And it's funny because you can be totally wrong, but all of a sudden you're on television stating something, and people hear that, and it's hard to make people not hear it. They heard it; it's filed back in their brain, and if they're not news junkies or people that read the newspaper on a regular basis or watch the news, they think, Harry Reid made a claim that's totally false. It's never been proven that Mitt Romney didn't pay his taxes.
And it will never be proven because
And
it's not true.
It's not true. From what?
What changed the political scene is the public media.
Yeah.
I get on my Facebook page 7 things from Mitt Romney. I get Scott Brown, and I get a couple others.
Well, social media has really changed the
Changed
election.
the way the
Absolutely.
election votes.
But in the media.
But
as
I
a
think,
whole,
and I think there are some politicians who are savvy to that and use it and know
Right.
how to use it, and then there are some who aren't reacting quickly enough, and they're going
Right.
to get.
Yeah. But very interesting. I mean, Jared has become a news junkie, which I think he probably got that from me a little bit. One day we walked into a room and television was on, and he was watching the news. And you said, "Oh, I'll change the station, Jared." Like it was a couple of years ago, and he said, "No, I'm watching this." And we were surprised because he went from SpongeBob, Nickelodeon, to all of a sudden he's watching Fox News and CNN. And
wish he was still watching SpongeBob.
I know, I miss those days, Jared. But anyway, it's interesting. The election is both locally and nationally, and then of course we have Mayor Menino, who's a great guy, also a guest here in Malden, and a good mayor. He's done a lot for the city. Longest serving mayor. They claim he's going to run it. He's going to be 70. He's had a host of health issues, but still managed to battle back. He's now recovering from eyelid surgery. And they claim he's going to run again. But he made this major statement, which became national news, that which I think he went over the line. He shouldn't have done. But the Purple Shamrock, long-standing establishment in Boston, is not renewing their lease, because the lease, actually the landlord, I think, doesn't want them there. It's a rowdy bar, fun bar. We used to go there when we were young. You have relatives that still go there, even though they're older. It's the Irish.
Cool.
No, I'm teasing.
I used to go to
The Purple Shamrock was a famous place. But anyway, so Chick-fil-A, which is interesting, they wanted to come to the city of Boston. And the owner, CEO, founder, is very religious. He's very right-wing. He's very outspoken. And he has come out against gay marriage. But it has, they don't discriminate in serving people. They don't discriminate in hiring, But he just made a statement that he doesn't believe in gay marriage. A union should be between a man and a woman and all this. And Menino, it just struck him the wrong way. And he basically made a statement, which he retracted, and said they weren't welcome to come to Boston. And he said, how can they be right across from the City Hall steps where we had the first gay marriage? And he was president there. And but then, the Second Amendment comes into play, the right of free speech. And you can say whatever you want. And I mean, to tell this guy he can't speak and say that. So it's been a big backlash. Meanwhile, though, what it has done is it boosted sales nationally.
Well, I'm sure it did.
I actually was at the
I
Burlington
am sure
Mall
they are thrilled.
yesterday.
better food.
Yeah,
I went to
I'm sure they're
Burlington Mall
thrilled.
yesterday, and Chick-fil-A, I've never eaten at a Chick-fil-A.
I have.
Is it good? You like?
Yeah, I like it.
Well, you're from. I'm teasing you. You like that type of food, which is good.
I do. I mean, and it's big in
But
the Midwest.
Midwest. You're from the Midwest,
Yeah,
and
no,
you're also Irish. You're not.
No, it's the truth. It
Irish
is the
food.
truth.
But anyway.
I go to fast food.
Yeah.
You don't because you're
Well, I
Italian.
don't mind fast
But
food.
that's not bad.
And well, it's funny because I knew that they were closed, and this was this guy's take. He was closed on a Sunday. If you go to a Chick-fil-A, they're usually in malls, or even if it's a freestanding unit, there's a sign at the door, and said, and it's written, it's typed
Yeah.
up, and they post it every Sunday. It's a family day, religious day, and all the stores are closed on Sunday, so his employees can enjoy the day. And I've never seen people at Chick-fil-A's. Well, I was at the Burlington Mall yesterday, and they have the food court there. And I'm a foodie, and I'm always checking out the food court and everything. You'd say looking for free samples too. But anyway, Chick-fil-A had a line, and this was yesterday. This was last night, and none of the other establishments were busy. And Chick-fil-A was packed. And I was looking at people sitting at the tables in the common area, and they all had Chick-fil-A meals. So I think this backfired, and not that it backfired, but it's kind of funny because Mayor Menino made this statement. Interesting thing is, a city councilors from Chicago chimed in and agreed. Then the mayor of Chicago, former chief of staff for Barack Obama, Ron Emanuel, agreed with Menino and said they're not welcome in Chicago as well. So what?
Chicago was the first.
No, Menino was the one that said it first. Menino did it.
I don't think so.
No,
I
you
think
think?
he's right.
Yeah, I watched the Chicago news.
I think you're right.
Ron Emanuel, did he?
He was the one.
That said it before Menino? Oh, I didn't know that. Really, I thought Menino was.
It's already there in Chicago.
Okay. Well, then interesting because Mayor Bloomberg, who they teased as the nanny because he wanted to stop large sodas being sold because it causes obesity. Mayor Bloomberg said that it was unconstitutional and no right, and he usually agrees with Menino in a lot of cases because they're basically sister cities, New York and Boston, and he's from Boston, he's from Medford.
Right.
Of course,
So what are you saying, that you don't think the mayor should have made the statement?
No, I mean it was, it's to prevent a business. I mean,
but did he prevent it, or did he just state
well, first off,
I don't know.
The mayor's a very powerful person,
right? So if he says that,
and if he basically tells a landlord
then
he doesn't want them to lease,
so he wasn't like explicitly preventing them, but he
right?
Okay.
And you can make it very difficult getting permits
Right.
and.
It was because it was on the Freedom Trail, which was one of the really big issues.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then across from City Hall, but
Yeah.
but he made national news, and his name was on national news. I mean, I saw,
Well, I think when it originally happened, he was very popular, and he was a lot of people were,
But then they
saying
realized that it wasn't a gay or non-gay thing. It was the right of free speech. I mean, you're taking away the Second Amendment rights of people if they can't publicly make a statement.
whose statement?
The owner of Chick-fil-A, the CEO,
Oh,
the
okay.
founder, who said he was against gay marriage,
Oh, okay.
but shows no sign of discriminating
Got it.
ever
Okay.
in hiring or serving.
Yeah.
Just the way he felt.
Yeah, his personal beliefs. And but I mean, to prevent somebody from doing
Yeah, I
business,
see what you're saying.
to basically stating their beliefs and saying, okay, because you feel that way, you cannot lease space. If they were a big bigot and discriminated against serving people or hiring people, I could see
Mhm.
the government stepping in and saying, whoa, we don't want you here. But just because this guy felt this way. So, but then Mayor Menino retracted. What now, Chicago, did they retract? I don't think.
Yes, because of that freedom.
Really?
It's freedom of speech.
Okay.
Because
Well, then-
they were starting to say, well, you can close this because
Yeah.
the owner doesn't like this, or
Right.
the owner
Yeah,
doesn't
exactly.
like that.
Well, then they had a Chick-fil-A Appreciation Day.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And then
Yeah, no, they did well.
Then the CEO, I guess, of Chick-fil-A contributed a lot of money to gay,
Didn't they have like a kiss in?
and they had a kiss-in the other day, which, I mean, it's actually, it goes back to
Any
to
press,
marketing.
it's-
Any press is good press.
Yeah, absolutely.
A friend of ours owns a great restaurant/function facility, and he's had a lot of positive press and a lot of negative press, and the negative press has helped him.
Well,
immensely.
negative press could be bad, not
Oh,
all negative.
Yeah, I mean,
All the time.
not all the time. Sometimes, it just puts your name out there.
Yeah.
Much like a farmer's market or an event, it gets your business name out there, which is interesting. So anyway, so that's the political roundup, and of course once the Olympics end, which is going to happen this Sunday, closing ceremony, we're going to get ready for both the Republican convention, which is in Tampa, the end of August, and then in September is the Democratic convention, and that's in, where's that? I forget where that's at.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Um,
Where's the Republican one?
In Tampa.
Oh.
He's got quite a lineup.
Yeah.
Does he?
People,
Yeah.
Oh, I heard who
Lisa
was.
Rice
Yeah. Well, we're looking, and I had city city councilor,
That was on last week.
Spatafora, who played last week, who basically said Condoleezza Rice.
Oh, I know who the Democrats are going to have. Is it Jimmy Carter's going to
No.
be?
Jimmy Carter.
Yeah, he is. The Democrat, yeah.
Bill Clinton is the key.
No, but I think Jimmy Carter's going to be there. They announced
Really?
it today.
Okay, I didn't hear that.
Keynote speaker.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's not loved by the Democratic Party. He's
No.
made a lot
He's
of
not loved by many people.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's made a lot of
I know, I heard that
mistakes,
today.
and he's
That was
been-
an announcement today.
he also went against the cardinal rule by, basically, if you're part of the elite president's club, if you will,
You don't criticize
they have
them.
a pact that they will never knock a sitting president, and he has gone against that pact. Numerous, both with President Bush and
I think there are a lot of
President
presidents that have done that.
Obama.
Just if you go through the history,
Not recently.
Oh,
no,
definitely,
right?
definitely.
Jared knows a lot about
Yeah, Jared
presidential
knows a
history.
lot.
100%, yeah.
I
but
mean,
the
and-
past few years, you never saw that. I
Wasn't
mean,
that with Truman and Eisenhower?
Yeah, absolutely.
But
Yeah,
I would say maybe 70s above.
Yeah, well
You
now,
didn't see it.
now it's,
But
Right.
even back with Thomas Jefferson, yeah.
It'd be interesting. We're going to find out sooner rather than later who how many will choose as a running mate, and then, is he going to go safe? Is he going to go rogue? Is he going to pick?
what's he gonna do what John McCain did and pick an unknown?
That backfired. It seemed like
Yeah.
for Senator McCain. So I don't think it's probably the wise thing to do. But then they say Mitt Romney isn't the most dynamic of people, and if he picks a boring running mate, it could really hurt him. Or if he, the most important thing for running mate, which I feel, if they're looking just to gain votes, sure, it helps win the election, but you need someone that's able to jump in and serve.
Right. If something
That's the most
right, I
important
agree.
thing. And even, that's key. And, you go back in history. Joe Biden, yes. Joe Biden has been around long enough. He could serve. Prior to him, obviously Dick Cheney, though he's still not liked by a lot of people,
But he could have.
he could have been president. Dan Quayle, back when George Bush, that prevented him from getting reelected, and he stood by his pick. Dan Quayle was a very weak candidate.
Right, and
weak
people could
senator.
not see him stepping in.
Right, and he served one term, and Bush had every opportunity to pick a new running mate, and,
Right, and he
and
didn't.
refused to do it because he was honorable, and I think that cost him the election. And you look at
Al Gore.
Al Gore would have he was very good.
Yeah.
He was a longtime senator. His father was a senator. His grandfather was a senator. Politics in his blood, and so Romney needs to pick someone. And I know that one of the candidates they're looking at is this governor from New Hampshire, and I think she's not really qualified yet.
Marco Rubio.
Marco Rubio, still
Ron
young.
Portman.
Ron Portman has very good credentials, but I think it's the boring factor there. Rubio or Kelly Ayotte from New Hampshire are more dynamic.
Condoleezza Rice is in
Condoleezza Rice, I think, would be ideal because she's had the experience. She's very bright. She's dealt with international affairs, an area that Romney lacks in. So that would be a good pick, I think. But, Chris Christie is doing a great job as the governor of New Jersey, very outspoken, very controversial, but still doing a good job. He's, but could he
What
be a
about
number
Rudy
two?
Giuliani? Would you ever pick him?
He would be great, I think. Giuliani did a great job as the mayor, and he was a former prosecutor, and
Yeah, he's solid.
he was an
I don't know what they're.
attorney general prior to that. So interesting to see. So the next time I'm on, we certainly will know who the VP pick will be.
When
which
are
is
you on
interesting.
next time?
I'll be on. Thank you for asking. September 13th.
Okay.
MATV is closing for 2 weeks.
Oh, is that right?
1 week only, the last week of August,
Oh, for vacation?
for vacation. So I
I
was
thought they cleaned the whole studio.
Oh,
in the
okay.
studio.
They do a little painting.
Oh, okay.
So I'll only be on once this month. So anyway, but and then we've got the Red Sox, which is interesting. I've been following that closely. And Bobby Valentine, should he stay? Should he go? And Jared and I went to the game the other night. It was a great game, and they did phenomenal. It was one of the best games of the season. And they actually they couldn't repeat it. They won Monday
See,
night.
now my father's a longtime Red Sox fan, forever. Won't even watch the games anymore because
Yeah.
he can't stand Valentine.
Yeah, Valentine.
Just cannot stomach him.
Well, you know what the problem is? They picked Valentine, who basically is controversial and a free spirit, and they brought him in, but they told him not to do what he wants to do. I think if they
I don't know. I just know my
If they
father
gave him
thinks
free
so.
reign, things could have been better, or if they didn't pick him, because he's very opinionated, very strong. But it's not a cohesive ball club. They don't get along. It's obvious. There's a lot of prima donnas that are paid high salaries that aren't really performing. And I guess they get the backing from the brass, the top ownership. And Valentine basically has to just manage, through them. So it's a little difficult. So it's sad to see, I've gone to a few games this season, and you don't have the enthusiasm of the crowd. It's a whole different experience compared to other years.
Yeah.
So anyway, and I think I was part of the curse this year. I think I told you we were running out of time, but we were in. If you remember, Julie, we were in California. It was that
Yes.
last game,
Yes.
and I was excited because they were up.
Yes.
And I went down to the gift shop because in the gift shop
Probably
I saw a
true,
really
yes.
nice Red Sox shirt, and I wanted to get one for me and a good
Magical
friend of
thinking.
mine. And I went down and I bought the shirts. I came back up to our hotel room and they were losing and they lost the game. If I didn't buy the shirt, if I stayed in the room, I bet they would have won. And I cursed
There you
them by
go.
buying the shirt. But anyway,
Thank you for having us
we're
on.
winding down. We still have a couple more minutes.
Okay.
Anything else you'd like to add?
Nope. I
We
think
didn't get any calls. We have 2 minutes left.
we have 2 minutes.
calls?
Peace.
No calls. No calls came in today. The phones.
Hmm.
But hopefully the listeners enjoyed the show, and people are all on vacation. Maybe there's not many people watching tonight because people could be away.
Now, can you measure how many people watch the show? I mean, is there a way for you to track that?
No.
There's no. Oh, there isn't. Okay.
There's no Nielsen ratings or.
Oh, I
Amazon or-
didn't know.
But I can tell you that there's probably about 18,000 cable subscribers.
18,000 subscribers.
We get 18,000.
Probably more now with the Verizon.
And this is not only Malden, though.
That's right. See this, if you're watching it on Verizon,
Yeah.
it goes to 5 cities.
Oh, okay. So
And those cities include.
The furthest one is Holden,
Okay. And what are the other cities?
Stoneham, Melrose, Malden, and then I forget what the other one is.
Okay. All right. So it's not the neighboring cities. It's not Everett.
No.
well, it's got to do with Verizon.
No, the ones that have Verizon.
Right.
Not all the cities have Verizon around.
Right.
They haven't done like we did.
Okay. I want to thank Frank Petruccio, the
Thank you, Frank.
executive producer, the
And his
the cameraman and
Thirty
sound man,
seconds.
and also Ed, who's in the control room. Thank you, Ed.
And Paul, did you say Paul?
Paul, I didn't see Paul's
Yeah,
back there
Paul's
too.
here
I didn't
now.
see Paul. There's Paul
hi,
from the
Paul.
Salvation Army. Paul. I want to thank my wife Julie, my son Jared. Thank you. Have a good school year, Jared. Julie, good luck with
Maybe
the
you'll see him around.
and we'll see him around. Yeah, hope to see you around, and also look for you in the Olympics someday. Maybe you never know. You never know.
Never know.
Stranger things have happened. So good evening. Enjoy the rest of the summer months. I'll see you September 13th, which is still technically summer. That'll be the next time I'm on the show, and got some great guests lined up for the fall. So good evening, Malden. Thank you.
Good night.